Welcome to Talk Across America. I'm Doug Miles, and we're here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
And it is great to welcome back to our Book Talk segment, the author of another one of his great Gray Man series. This one's called Mission Critical. And we're joined today by best-selling novelist Mark Greaney, joined us by telephone today. And Mark, good to talk with you again. How you been?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I think this is our third or maybe fourth time we've talked, so you're very prolific. That's good. Good in the writing business, isn't it?
I keep cranking them out. I can't stop for some reason.
That's good. Well, you fertile mind. You got a lot of great stories. That's important, right? Better than the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Better than the alternative, right?
Well, let's get right into it. Again, for maybe people that weren't with us before, just maybe a quick overview of who the Gray Man is. I know Court Gentry, that's your main character, is a CIA agent, but I don't want to give away too much, so kind of set up the plot for us.
Sure. This is the 8th book in the series, and as you said, he's a former CIA officer who, for part of the series, the CIA was actually targeting, but now he's back with sort of in a relationship with them. It's a little unsteady, but in this book, he is off in search of a prisoner that the CIA had but lost on an aircraft that was attacked on the ground in England. And of course, on the plane, just basically getting a ride ferried back to the U.S., and he goes off after the prisoner because he's one of the only survivors on the plane. And along the way, he learns about a mole within the CIA that is threatening American intelligence, and so he sort of has to uncover that mystery and take on all the bad guys.
Yeah, and also his the other character that you have in there, a woman that he's involved with sometimes, right? Zoya, I believe, is her name. She's also part of that. So
yeah, Zoya Zakharova. She is back in the U.S. She's a former SVR, which is Russian foreign intelligence agent, but she's been turned by the CIA and is now about to join the program that Court is in. But she finds out some information about the death of her father a long time ago that sends her off on a quest at the same time. It's a totally different plot line, but they do intersect. The two stories are related to one another, but neither knows at the time. So yeah, you've got the two big plot lines that culminate together.
And that's been a continuing storyline too, with Zoya and Court, right, in previous books. So people are looking forward to that, right? I introduced her in Gunmetal Gray, and fans really liked her, and I liked writing her and creating her. And there was a line in Gunmetal Gray about how her dad was a general who'd been killed, and I just got the seed at that time that maybe I would go back and turn that into a plot line. So I did. And again, for people that weren't with us before, I mean, you have a degree in international relations and political science. You kind of lived this a little bit, doing your research for previous books. Any different type of research for this one, or did you follow the same procedure?
No, it's a little different. I do as much location research as time allows and personal security allows. But this book takes place in the UK, so that was pretty safe. I spent a week and a half in London, and then I spent several days in Edinburgh, and then went up into the Scottish Highlands. I've written about car chases and whatnot, like every author in this genre, but I didn't know that much about how that all works. So I took a stunt driving course, and I've taken a lot of firearms courses, which I've done for other books too, but I continue to do so. So it's all things that, kind of make the story a little bit more believable.
When you go on the road, like you said, the UK for this book and other places for previous books, do you do it mostly for the descriptions of the locations? Like, do you take notes, or is that what you're doing? Taking notes as you go along? This will make a good scene for the book, or what do you look for?
Definitely taking notes, taking a lot of pictures. Sometimes it's the physical stuff, like how would somebody get from here to here or whatever. But a lot of times it's more general than that. It's just the atmospherics, what it sounds like on the underground in London, or just the way that people dress or act or talk or whatnot. So sometimes you have very specific things you're going to look at. Like, I want to look at this street corner and see this building and see if there's a sight line to it. Or other times it's just like, hey, I want to meet some people in a pub in Ireland and see what they talk about and write about that. So it's everything.
Do you pick up, too, when you talk to people, I guess you pick up accents or dialects that you can use in your dialogue, right? I guess that must help with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I try, in this book, a lot of it takes place in the UK, and several of the characters are English. And, and I've read a lot of British writers write American dialogue and get it wrong. They'll call them trainers instead of tennis shoes or things like that. And so I'm very worried about doing that sort of thing. I might not have done it perfectly, but I did spend a lot of time trying to get as much of that correct as possible.
I know your loyal readers that read your books and books like this. I guess some of them are sticklers too, right? So when you're writing about military tactics or combat or weapons, you got to be accurate, don't you?
Oh yeah. As I write something and double check it, I'm thinking about all the emails I'll get years and years if I don't get it right, and you're sort of like, you spend more time thinking about like how much hassle am I going to go through if I get the muzzle velocity of this gun wrong by 5 feet a second or something. Yeah, you get it as close as a book doesn't have to be accurate; it just has to be credible. But there's some people, if they're a subject matter expert, they're going to pick on you, for some little thing, and it's fine. It's part of the job, and you buy the book, you get to take the ride and do what you want with it.
And again, I think you said this is the 8th in the series, Court Gentry, and of course Zoya, the woman involved. I imagine they have evolved. I know they have evolved over the 8 books. Have they changed different ways than you thought? Maybe from book 1 to this particular book?
Yeah, they both have. I mean, Zoya's only been in the more recent books, but I've just fleshed her out more. She became a fan favorite, and she was a favorite to write, so that expanded her role. Court has changed a lot. That even from the storyline where he was being targeted by the CIA to now he has this relationship with them. But more than that, his moral code has been more like fleshed out in my head, and he'll do things that his employers don't want him to do, or he won't do things that they do want him to do. And I want the reader to not even necessarily agree with him all the time, but see that he has this kind of like center that is causes him to do what he does, and I think that kind of propels the story along. I mean, that's gotten more fleshed out as the books have gone on.
Yeah, I guess your readers also send you suggestions too, I would think, right? Where they want to, maybe for the next book, right? Where they want the character to go.
Yeah. I do get some of that. I can't say that I've ever followed them. I always have my own ideas and whatnot, and so a lot of times people will, send me ideas, or even other books they want me to write, or books about them they want me to write, or whatever. And I'm always tell them, I'm like, you're passionate about that, you should probably do it. I'm passionate about my ideas, and I'm probably going to do that.
Well, people really do get involved, like the soap operas. I mean, they get involved with characters, so that's a good thing. But
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been addressed by the name of like people see me on the street and call me Court Gentry, or call me Gray Man, or they'll email me and they'll be like, "Hey, Court," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I've done something right, to where they think I'm a real person, but at the same time, it does feel like it's a little weird to my own identity."
Well, this one called Mission Critical, another Gray Man novel, a thriller, as we like to call it, and they're really kind of one of those, you get on page 1 and ride it through till the last page, and we've been talking with Mark Greaney today. And again, Mark, give out your website if you would, or people can get more in contact with you.
Sure, it's Mark Greaney, Greaney, books.com, and it has information about all my books there, my tour. I have another book coming out in July that's not a Gray Man novel, and you can learn about that there.
Oh, great. Well, we'll hopefully talk to you at that time, and we'll also put a link on our website for the book. But, Mark, pleasure talking to you again. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Doug. Enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us today on Talk Across America. Please visit our website at dougmilesmedia.com for more great interviews and content. And if you're interested in any of the books we talk about on the program, please click the Amazon link on our website. It helps support the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon here from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.